This video is to complement the video about Jesus and his visit to the Passover, where he talks to all the religious leaders. Now, of course, here, if you want to follow along, it's Luke chapter 2, verses 40 to 52, and it says there, just starting, the young child continued growing and getting strong. Now his parents were accustomed to go to Jerusalem from year to year for the festival of the Passover, and he was just 12 years old. Now, the trip from Nazareth to Jerusalem is about 75 miles. Now, of course, for us, that's just a couple of hours in our automobile or a trip on the train. Of course, for him and his family, it would be donkeys. They would be staying over a couple of nights because they were walking on foot, weren't they? And he had younger brothers and sisters as well, and uncles and aunties. So it's quite a large group travelling. And it says to Jesus and his family, the Passover is not just a one-day event. The day after the Passover is the beginning of the 7-day festival of unleavened bread. That's where they put up little tents. And it is considered part of the Passover season. So the trip from their home in Nazareth to stay in Jerusalem and to return to their home takes about 2 weeks. But this year, because of an instance that involves Jesus, it takes a bit longer, as we will discover, because of his involvement with those priests in the temple. So while they're travelling back home, Joseph and Mary assume that Jesus is among the group of relatives and friends travelling northwards back to Nazareth together. However, when they stop for the night, they do not find him. So they go looking for him amongst their companions, but he's not there. Their boy is nowhere to be found. Joseph and Mary then head back to Jerusalem. You can imagine, as parents, how you'd be feeling about that. For a whole day they search the city without finding him, nor do they find him on the second day. Finally, on the third day, they locate their son in the temple with its many halls. Jesus is sitting in the midst of the Jewish teachers, listening and asking questions. So naturally, his mother says this, "Child, why did you treat us this way? Here, your father and I have been frantically looking for you." And of course, this is the answer that Luke records Jesus saying. "Why were you looking for me?" he says. "Did you not know I must be in the house of my father?" Poor parents. But it just shows something about Jesus. And it mentions these trips because they were annual, like a 2 weeks holiday. It says there, trips to Jerusalem for these 3 annual festivals were joyful events. During those travels, Jesus would see different parts of the land of Israel, learn its geography, and meet fellow worshippers from other regions. What memorable trips that would make. And this is just one of the 100 or so stories in the book called The Way, the Truth and the Life. If you want to look at more of these stories and have them even read to you, go on to jw.org, click onto the library and click onto books and find this one, Jesus, the Way, the Truth and Life, and you'll have access and you can download it onto your tablet or device. Thank you once again.